Have you ever noticed how it seems like some people are just gliding through their careers, right? Those people that literally walk into a room and they immediately light it up. They just command attention immediately and they have brilliant ideas. They appeal to everyone. Nangisibine appeal to everyone, literally appeal to show floor. They appeal to management. They're just likable. They're smart. They're empathetic and assertive at the same time. It's literally seems like this person is an all-rounder, right? Let me let you in on something. These people are literally quietly stacking up high impact skills that make them magnetic, that make them valuable, and literally unforgettable. Today in career therapy, we will be discussing skill stacking, right? What are these skills that you need to stack to ensure that you also possess these qualities? Let's discuss it. Welcome to career therapy. Hello everyone, my name is Noe Tumdluli and this is Career Therapy. Most people literally think that success is about being the best at one thing, but in 2025 that's not true anymore. The people who are thriving right now are not specialists, they are multifaceted. What is skill stacking? Skill stacking means literally combining multiple complementary skills to make yourself valuable or literally to stand out. This basically means you don't need to be world class like or the best at one skill. You literally just need to be good enough in a few different skills, and that when combined they make you valuable or irreplaceable. Right. So let me actually make an example. Imagine someone who is a data analyst right now, right? And the person is great with data analytics. We all know that that person is probably also great with numbers. Imagine if that person couples that skill with literally communication skills, right? Now this person knows how to speak eloquently, how to speak with influence and also tell a compelling story, right? And then also that person has great leadership skills. So that person now is not just an ordinary data analyst. That person is a data driven leader who can influence decisions, right? That sounds so good. That literally sounds like a stack, right? Now that is how you add value, by making sure to you stack up other skills on top of that skill that you currently possess, right? So let me actually give you 7 power skills to stack, right? This is according to Forbes and Central Test, and these are the building blocks to literally an impactful career, right? Let's just get straight into it. The first skill that you need to kind of have in your stack is communication, right? We know what communication is, but I don't mean just the communication that we all know, the verbal delivering a message and then receiving it. Literally, it's about articulation. It's about owning the room. It's about having presence, the kind of speaking that makes people lean in. Yeah, but I know what we all know that one speaker. In actual fact, this is a good segue for you to kind of comment who's your favorite speaker, who's that speaker that you've once heard speak and you were just so captivated and you were like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that skill, right? I know a couple of really good speakers, those speakers that have charisma, depending on like which side of the generation you're on. If you're like Gen Z, you'd probably call it Riz, right? Those people that have Riz, those people that have influence. Yeah, but and here's the truth. Without this skill, you cannot make your ideas land. You literally, if you can't make your ideas land, then you don't have impact, Yabon. And you can have the best experience, you can have the best insights, you can literally have the best solutions, but if your delivery is off, then you kind of do not have impact, right? So communication is not just words, it's literally the energy. It's about storytelling, it's negotiating, it's impromptu speaking, right? Speaking off the cuff, sounding like you've planned it for days, right? So basically, like once you possess these skills, you can literally like you can have influence in any room that you walk in. And communication is key, guys. Literally, not only in our in the work context, literally at home, in family context, communication is quite key. So if you have the skill, literally you can walk into any room and own it, right? So how do you build the skill? There's literally a plethora of resources out there that you can use. But I know that there's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and this one is quite good as well. And if you don't like books and you're an audiobook type of person, there's a podcast called Think Fast, Talk Smart by Matt Abrahams. He is a comms professor at Stanford. Literally, he is my favorite. Literally, every book, or rather every episode, is a masterclass. The reason why I said book is because I'm currently reading this book, but literally every episode is a masterclass. He's so good. He covers everything: anxiety when speaking and all these other topics that are around communication. So he is my big recommendation. If you want to become a great communicator, please make sure that you follow his podcast, right? So the second skill that you kind of need to add to your stack is growth mindset and curiosity. I've kind of married the two because I believe that they are quite linked, right? So growth mindset is a term that was coined by Carol Dweck. It's literally the belief that your intelligence, your talent, and your ability isn't fixed, but it's flexible. It's literally believing the fact that your talents can be developed through hard work and good strategies and input from others. So if you have a growth mindset, you're a person that understands that you can grow. Your skill set is quite flexible. It's not fixed. It's not like your talent or like a gift that you've been given and you there's nothing that you can do about it. It's understanding the fact that if you put energy into the right things, you can literally grow or learn that skill, right? It's about understanding the fact that in whatever that you learn or whatever that you put yourself through or whatever skill that you tell yourself that you want to develop and you fail, or you have setbacks or challenges, all those things are literally just a data point for you or feedback for you. And makucabanga, you don't think about kuti, oh, I failed, but you think about kuti, oh, what have I learned, right? So that's a growth mindset. It's literally understanding kuti, in every failure you're learning, Yabon, and every setback is literally a data point for you to keep going or keep pushing, So it is quite a very good skill to have, as well as be curious, guys. Really, 93% of employers want to hire people that are curious and that are willing to. They want to hire people that can adapt and demonstrate flexibility. Yeah, curiosity is key because it's the people that keep asking questions. Jabona, just ask questions about why things work the way that they do, how could they be better, and what is someone else not seeing. And I think this is really a good position if you're new in an organization, because there's no question that's a dumb question. Just ask, because you'll find that people that are already in that organization are used to doing a thing a certain way. And because when you're there, just be curious, find out why, and you'll be surprised when you find out why things are being done a certain way, right? So it's very important for you to question things. It's about literally having the right questions. If you have the right questions, then you get better answers, and then you get better opportunities to work on the real problems, right? So and in this fast changing, evolving world, being curious is not a nice to have. It is a survival skill, right? So it's very important to be curious. Okay, so the third skill to kind of learn is emotional intelligence, also known as EQ, right? So this is literally, I don't believe it's underrated. I think that it used to be underrated, but in today's context, with the rise of AI and machine learning, it's very important for us to lean in on the person. And I do believe that with knowledge being everywhere and the technical expertise literally being easily accessible, this one is going to be the tough one to tap into. So it's very important to understand that emotions are important. And it's funny because for the longest time, we've believed that emotions don't have a place at the workplace. Yabon, like, you don't have to be emotional in the workplace. But how can that be? Because literally, we are people in the workspace, right? And because you're a person, by design, you have emotions. Yeah, but so I don't understand how you then leave out emotions in the workplace, right? And emotional intelligence is not about being soft, right? It's literally just being smart about emotions, about knowing when to speak, knowing when to hold back, knowing how to lead with empathy, without also being, being taken advantage of, So it's literally understanding the fact that, listen, I'm going through something as your leader, and you are also going through something. But in this context, we're going to show up and be professional about things, right? And understanding the fact that if you need to break down, go to your corner, go take your leave, go break down, because we're all going through stuff when things get a lot. But it's understanding the fact that understanding your emotions and knowing and being responsible for the energy that you bring. I think I really, really like that. It's the fact that you need to be really responsible for the energy that you bring at all levels, across everywhere. You need to be responsible for the energy that you bring into the room, right? When I was prepping for this, I literally thought of Maya Angelou's quote that says, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will not forget how you made them feel, right? That is why it's very important for you to be very mindful about the impact and be responsible for the energy that you bring into the room, because ultimately people will always forget what you said, they'll always forget what you did, but they will not forget how you made them feel, right? The fourth skill to have in your stack is critical thinking. Okay. And I really, really like this one because in a world where everyone's reacting, critical thinking is the ability to be able to zoom out of a situation, separate the facts from the fluff, and make decisions that actually make sense. It's a person who literally pauses, to literally think about whatever that you're doing. And critical thinking is not about being smart. It's about asking better questions. It's not jumping into conclusions because people are now panicking, or because now there's pressure or whatever. While there's hype, while there's noise around everything, the person that thinks deeper, right? You challenge the assumptions and literally find the real problem and sort out the real problem from the symptoms, right? And I really, really like that, because I think that as we are problem solving in the business world, you find that it's easy to kind of work around the symptoms of the problem and not actually the problem. But like, if you're a critical thinker, you will always think of the root cause and literally uproot the problem from source, rather than literally just I'm working around the issues that are caused by the real problem, right? So I think that critical thinkers are really good at that. And literally it's a skill that makes you trusted with big decisions, because you're not just adding to the noise, but when you're the person that always finds clarity within the noise, right? This skill requires you to be very level headed, right? So I think it's a very, very critical skill to have. And then the fifth skill to kind of have is entrepreneurial thinking, right? So it's when you entrepreneurial thinking, I know that people will probably think that this is for, I don't know, maybe your side hustles, or if you're like an entrepreneur, like, which is people in the corporate world usually do not want to tap into that skill. But it's quite important. You need to stop thinking like an employee, but think like an owner. Yeah, because once you think like an owner, it's easy for you to be very accountable and to own whatever that you are faced with. Entrepreneurial thinking drives ownership, and it's not about seeing the problems and thinking, hey, where's my manager? It's about literally owning it and being like, what can I do to fix this? Yeah, but it's about taking initiative, spotting gaps, and creating value before anyone asks you to. Yeah, but it's owning the issue, and employers really love this mindset. It's literally discretionary effort. If you have it, then you're already like ahead of most people. Yeah, but you make yourself easy to work with. Yeah, but so how do you display entrepreneurial thinking? Maybe you can create a new process that saves time, or you launch a side project that brings maybe new clients, or you just start doing something without waiting for the green light, Jabon, and you are literally innovative. But obviously within the within the nuance of within the work context. Yabona, literally, entrepreneurial thinking, it doesn't mean you're a loose cannon, yalo ausa, you don't honor the system anymore, you're just doing whatever you're doing, you're working against your team. Literally, entrepreneurial thinking says, listen, you improve the processes that are already there. You're working with your team, not against it, and you're bringing ideas that make the processes that you already exist in faster, smarter, or you continuously improve whatever process that you can improve. So literally, it's just ownership. Entrepreneurial thinking says ownership, right? And then the sixth skill that you kind of want to stack, is social intelligence. And listen, with social intelligence, I do think that this one is the underrated one. Yeah, well, it's literally the skill that will get you into rooms where even your CV won't, right? Because it's the ability to read the room. Social intelligence is literally being able to pick up on some cues, understanding group dynamics, and navigating negative relationships with emotional precision. I really, really like this skill because the ability to read the room is really underrated. People will literally say one thing and act the opposite, and then you find yourself asking yourself, let's say, does this person understand? I'll make an example. Maybe an organization is going through downtimes or turmoil, financial turmoil or whatever. And you find that there's gonna be, that one person, Loto Vele, buy this expensive car, or now go on this very expensive holiday. Yet that person has just said, hey, we are going through tough times, and all these things. And it's quite sad, man, because Guti, some people lack the skill to be able to just read the room, if and it's not just literally reading the room in the context of being in one room, but it's literally the economy, reading everything around you, and everything should be in sync, or rather in synergy. If you're going to say something, then act like it, model it, so I think that that is quite important. It's not just about being nice, it's about how you show up, on who needs support, when to speak, when to hold space as well, and when to strategically stay silent, and we all know with the workplace is still a social system. So if you can master that human code, Yabon, if you know how to manage people, then you will move through it with grace. You'll move through it with influence and with impact. And yeah, no, definitely it's a very important skill to have. So if you want to build this muscle, if you want to, build this skill, you need to observe more than you speak, study tone, study timing and body language, and literally build genuine relationships in the workplace, not just network, but literally connect with people. The seventh skill is self-awareness, right? Self-awareness is literally the skill behind every other skill. It's about knowing your strengths and owning them, and equally knowing your blind spots and being brave enough to face them. Yabon. So this is actually a very, very nice stat, but most people think they're self-aware, but according to research, it's only 10 to 15% people that are actually are. So I would actually challenge you to actually really, really think about that. Like, think about how self-aware are you? Because I believe that you know the real you. Yeah, well, like, do you know your blind spots and are you working on them? Do you know your strengths and are you working on them? Because we all know whatever strengths are core, you need to make sure that you leverage on them, you do the most about with them, but also equally do something about your weak spots as well. So I'd like to challenge you to just make sure that you think about your blind spots and what are you doing about them. So because and self-awareness matters, because if you don't know how you come across, then you will not understand your impact, you will not understand your triggers, you will not understand your patterns, and you'll keep repeating the same mistakes. It's just you're gonna keep on doing them in different roles, because let's just say for some reason you are climbing up the ladder, but if you don't know your triggers, you don't know your patterns, you don't know your impact, you'll just keep doing the same mistakes. It's just that in a fancier job title, right? So literally self-awareness gives you a choice. It lets you respond Instead of reacting, it helps you to align your ambition with your behavior. And it builds trust because people can feel when you're honest about who you are, right? So how do you build self-awareness? You ask for feedback, and you really listen, and you reflect, you journal. There are all these ways. Pay attention to emotions. They're a data point for you, not just a distraction. You need to understand Gusi, you need to understand your emotions, how you react, and all these things. So those are the skills that I wanted to share. And listen, you do not need all these skills at once. You just need the right ones for where you're going. Yabon. So think about your current role. What is missing in your toolkit, right? If you're in finance, maybe you could work on your communication skills. If you're in HR, maybe you can couple that with maybe some data analysis. Find ways to kind of what do you call this, communicate your work through data. If you're in IT, maybe you can work on your emotional intelligence. So these are the skills that you would not conventionally have them in your career path, but you know that these skills are very important and you'd like to expose yourself to them. So build your stack, be intentional, and make sure that you possess all these qualities that can make your career very impactful, right? And then once you've built these skills, make sure that you then show your stack, right? And I know that this is where most people drop the ball. You kind of study these things, you work on these amazing skills, and you hide them. So make sure that you share wins, you advocate for them. I did speak on this in the one of the previous episodes, about advocating for your skills. So make sure, Guti, you touch on these skills. Literally, you talk to them, share them on your LinkedIn, talk to them in interviews, share them with your mentors, and just make sure, Guti, it's visible that you're working on these skills, right? Otherwise, thank you so much for coming through and listening to this episode. The key takeaway is the fact that do it block by block, right? You don't have to take up everything at once. Make sure that you're building them kancane kancane to ensure that one day you stand out. Literally, skill by skill, block by block, right? Stack by stack, right? Otherwise, just a quick recap. The skills are communication, growth mindset and curiosity, EQ, critical thinking, self-awareness, entrepreneurial mindset, and social intelligence, right? And those are the skills that you kind of need to work on top of the technical skills that you currently possess. Right. Otherwise, let's keep working in our career growth. Let's keep pushing and ensuring that we are navigating the corporate world together. My name is Noe too, and this is Career Therapy. And if you liked this episode, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe, guys. It actually matters. Comment, let me know what else you want to see, and let me know what skill you'll start working on. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.